G'day guys and gal, I make a lot of Primarch content on this channel because A, it's interesting, and B, because you guys keep watching it, and me being a man of reason and science, I'm just gonna keep making them. But instead of some kind of serious and metaphysical look at their motives or how most of their paths to hell were paved with good intentions, let's get a little silly, and instead look at one fun fact about each of the Primarchs that you probably didn't know about. Before we get started, new year, new me, am I right? Although I don't think you should need a New Year's resolution to try self-improve. If that floats your boat, then do it. The best way you could improve yourself right now is by starting a skincare routine by Geology. Your discolored, acne-ridden, oily, or even dry face isn't something you need to keep putting up with. It can be reduced or outright cured with a straightforward, easy to use, and inexpensive skincare routine. Here's how it works. You fill out a quick survey and Geology will use that data to create a customized skincare routine just for you. For me, I need sunscreen in my moisturizer because we don't have an ozone layer, while I also used to get quite oily as you'll see in this video before I started using Geology. Now, no issue. I'm safe from the sun and I don't look like a sweaty neckbeard anymore. To take it a step further, Geology also offers a variety of other great smelling natural ingredient products such as deodorants, shampoos, and body washes. They smell great, not chemically at all. So to get a massive 70% off your first skincare package, as well as another 50% off a product of your choice, then use my link and code Majorkill70 below. Cheers to Geology for sponsoring this video. Today we'll check out one obscure fun fact of each of the Primarchs that I don't think you would actually know. It's that easy. Let's get into it. The Lion has some of the keenest senses and perceptions out of all the Primarchs. He was once able to sneak up on Konrad Curze, despite Curze being able to see the future and being a stealth specialist himself. The Lion's perception is so good that he is actually able to see the Emperor in his truest form out of all of his brothers. The Emperor looks different to everyone. Most see him as this golden godlike being. Others see something more true and realistic. The Lion sees a hooded figure, armored in emerald plate wreathed in obscuring light. So definitely not a true face and form kind of vibe, but this rendition of the Emperor is considered to be the most true. So there you go, Lion. Let's see some green armored Emperor art. During his pretty peaceful conquest of Chemos, Fulgrim wanted to go down the diplomatic route as the world was on the brink of collapse and literally couldn't afford a war. A part of this was Fulgrim taking various wives, meaning he was the only Primarch to ever get married. Sure, they were political, but when asked about it, Fulgrim said he did actually love some of them, for a time at least, until his Primarch brain started kicking in and making concepts like romantic love beneath him. As Primarchs do actually end up being man-sized for a few years, there's a decent chance that Fulgrim also fucked at least one of his wives. Sure, the ethics of that are questionable, since Fulgrim would have had to have been between the ages of 5 to 10 years old at that point, but the point remains. Fulgrim also said he outlived all his wives. I really hope that isn't because he was an absolute creature in bed. Perturabo and his legion would literally play a more complex version of Warhammer 40k, using it to plan war strategies against various different enemies. They even created a board of terror and would simulate the siege of Terra like a 40k game. That's awesome. The White Scars were from a planet called Chagoris, known for its tundras and plains. It also had a language called Chakoran, which was notoriously hard to learn. However, what was even harder was for a Chagorian to learn Low Gothic, aka English. Even the White Scar Space Marines, with their supreme intellect and learning ability, struggled with the language, with none of them ever becoming fluent except Jagadai Khan, making him the only Chagorian to ever master the language. Leman Russ was made as an anti-psyker warrior, which probably goes a long way to explain his disdain for Magnus the Red. Examples of his anti-psyker abilities are his Canis Helix, the DNA within him and his sons that make them so wolfy, which also gives them warp resistance. Russ could also unleash a mighty howl that would banish psychic abilities in the area and even stun psykers. It was these abilities that allowed him to close with and defeat Magnus the Red, despite Magnus being obscenely powerful. Rogel Dorn cannot lie. It's unclear if this was due to his innate Primarchness or if his personality was so blunt and straightforward that lying was an alien concept to him. But the man has never told a lie and he hates it when people lie or try to use clandestine methods. He literally punched a hole in the wall leading to the Officio Assassinorum temple and he forced all the assassin grandmasters to remove their masks. Dude would have been the fucking worst little brother. Konrad Curze is actually quite an interesting character, but to know this you actually have to spend a lot of time on his lore, otherwise he just looks like a sadistic twat, and he does end up as a sadistic twat, so there's that. One of his fun facts is that out of all the Primarchs, he only ever actually hated one, that being Corvus Corax. He hated the shit out of Corvus because he was jealous. They were like a mirror, black eyes, master of stealth, lightning claws, but Corvus was literally better at all of it. He was a finer warrior, he was better at stealth, and he didn't have Kurze's baggage. Ties back into the ancient hatred between goths and emos. Sanguinius's wings don't actually work that well and are not the reason why he can fly. They literally don't have the size and structure to be able to carry his weight. Like for birds to fly, they have to have hollow bones and shit. Sangi's wings are literally just an aesthetic. In reality, he flies like Superman, with his wings maybe offering some kind of help with pitching and turning, but overall, they are more so just there to make him flying look less ridiculous. A few months after Ferrus Manus was killed, Fulgrim got Fabius to use the blood on his sword to clone Ferrus, so that Fulgrim could spend time with his brother and attempt to corrupt him to chaos. Fulgrim had Ferrus cloned hundreds of times. Each time Ferrus refused to join chaos and ended up getting killed again and again and again. No matter what Fulgrim tried, Ferrus was never to join him, further enraging Fulgrim. As a bonus, in some of the attempts to kill Ferrus after Ferrus refused him, the fight actually got close, with Fulgrim nearly getting seriously wounded. Angron was never supposed to be this berserker crazy idiot. His original role was to be that of a paladin, a paragon of protection and will, unshaking in his beliefs. Before Angron got the Butcher's Nails, he had the power to remove pain from others and was known to be extremely caring and merciful. He also was unshaking in his beliefs and path forward, even when he received the nails and got fucked with. Man, we really could have had a loyalist paladin Angron leading his legion of Justicars and warrior priests. During the Horus Heresy, Guilliman prepared a number of extremely over-the-top and hectic wargames for his Ultramarines, building entire fake war zones and repainting hundreds of his sons' armor in different legion colors and then making them have mock battles. Some of these battles even involved Ultramarines fighting other loyalist legions, like the Salamanders. The most extra moment of these wargames was when Guilliman himself took the field of battle, dressed up as Horus, in Horus's full war plate. Just think about how much they would have cost to make. Dude doesn't do things in halves. Despite being a staunch anti-Psyker until deep into the Horus Heresy, Mortarion was actually the second strongest Psyker out of all the Primarchs. Only Magnus was greater. However, due to Morty being forced as a child to do fucked up psychic shit to innocent people, he was extremely put off witchery, suppressing his own power and becoming a melee juggernaut instead. However, he was forced to use his powers in the Heresy against a demon, and then he fully embraced them when he became a demon prince of Nurgle. Magnus the Red wasn't just a powerful Psyker, he was literally psychic energy contained in a mortal shell. The dude's entire appearance was constantly shifting depending on his mood, energy, health, power, and his own input. His eyes would change from rainbow to purple to gold, whilst the hue of his skin and even his size and muscle mass would constantly change, like a box full of power constantly deforming. As he lost various shards of his form, he found it hard to look healthy, with his skin being a dull shade of red and his other colours looking a lot more grey. Horus is known for being extremely intelligent and manipulation and charisma, so much so that he actually faked his accent to appear more relatable to his men. Horus was found super early on in the Great Crusade and didn't have much time to really integrate with his homeworld of Chthoniya. However, he ended up faking and putting on a thick gang Chthonian accent to appear less regal and more relatable to his warriors. Some of the Sons of Horus found the accent amusing as it was very low class, while others could sense it wasn't entirely real. By the time the heresy came about, Horus had mostly ditched this accent as he really didn't give a fuck about his warriors anymore. Lorgar is the master of changing his religion. On Lorgar's homeworld of Colchis, the religion was chaos. Lorgar then created a holy war in order to convert the world's religion to following the Emperor as the one true god. However, later in the heresy, he would then flip-flop back to following chaos, thus once again converting Colchis back to the old ways. With all this flip-flopping, it's no wonder that by the end of the heresy, Colchis was barren and near death. The Ultramarines blew it up anyway as a big fuck you to the Wordbearers, but not like the Wordbearers seemed to care at that point. Vulcan was actually one of the first Primarchs to sense that there was something very, very wrong with Horus. Vulcan's own Warhammer, Dawnbringer, was supposed to be a gift for the War Master, but after seeing his brother and sensing his darkness, he withheld the gift and made the weapon his own instead. Corvus was the only Primarch that was allowed to know the true nature of the universe and chaos by the Emperor. The Emperor saw Corvus as utterly reliable and reasonable, thus able to handle the truth of the galaxy. These traits within Corvus were what allowed him to later tap into his inner warp power and ascend without needing Chaos's help, making him currently one of the most powerful beings in the setting. The majority of Alpharius's Alpha Legion machinations and subterfuge were entirely unnecessary and actually hindered the Legion. Alpharius was more obsessed with looking smart and unpredictable than actually making intelligent moves. This is why the Alpha Legion didn't have much of an effect on the Horus Heresy, and why Alpharius ended up getting destroyed by Rogel Dawn. Dude was playing 4D chess by himself while everyone else was playing rugby. If you enjoyed the video and you want to support the channel, then subscribe. It's free, easy, and it's the new year. Join the Discord for more memes, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.